This week, Nintendo goes for your wallets. Another live service game rides off into the sunset, and Jedi Survivor gets a much needed update. This is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with you can run, you can even try to hide, but once you're in on his hit list, he'll track you down. It's better to surrender and let him bring you in alive, because if he has to stop you, the last thing you will feel is a swift, hot blade as he looks you dead in the eye. He always gets his man. It's the lethal, invisibly quick bounty hunter, Jingo the Huth.
Whoop whoop. Heck yeah. You know what? That had a lot of thought put into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Where does it go, Jingo? Is it going to the tippity top this week? Because we rank them every week.
Yes, now it's a new thing this year. We were going to rank the names. That way we can come back here in December and look upon the greatness that is the names.
The mountain of names.
So far we've got at number 1, Ligurian God of the Seas. Number 2, Monsieur Jean-Jacques Decateau. And number 3, Delphina Warrior Princess. And you know, mostly because of the exposition.
Yeah.
But because it's a great play on Jango Fett and Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
It's going on number 1, sir.
Oh, baby, baby, baby. Amy says you're welcome. She said you're welcome, Jingo.
You know, and now, and don't take offense to this, Amy. That's probably some of the greatest exposition work you've done ever with the names.
Agree.
Like,
I would agree.
Obviously, I can't remember all the ones you did last year. So that's a credit, but at least since we've been paying attention, at least in the last 2 months, that is some of the greatest exposition work you've put on paper, ma'am. Bravo to you. Put a 5 in the chat for Amy.
Put a 5 in chat. Put some GGs down there. Put some love in there. Jingo Huth. I put the Huth in there because, I put my own spin on things when I read,
I mean, after this, you're going to call me by my actual name, so it's okay.
What are you talking about, Jingo? And also,
just wait till we get to just wait by the second story. You'll probably say my name.
By the way, remember, Jingo, scroll to the top for your name at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I know.
Guys, this is the Nerd Cave. We're excited that you're here. This episode is brought to you by the Epic Game Store and our wonderful patrons, but more about that later. We have an awesome announcement we're so excited about. We are going to be at PizzaCon February 24th through the 26th. We're going to be chilling out and hanging out with all of you. February 25th, we are going to be live and in person at Five Guys. Derek's buying me a hamburger because he lost a bet.
I know.
Because I am the God of War, baby. The God of War.
I don't know what hurts the worst. The fact that I lost a bet on something involving God of War, my all-time favorite series, or the fact that I lost to you.
I think it's both. It's like
probably
the wound was there, and then just tons of salt got poured into the wound. And it's every week I just grind at that wound, and I'm just yeah, boy.
It hurts, don't it?
Yeah, it does hurt. So we're going to be at Five Guys on Airport Boulevard at 11:30 a.m. on February 25th. Come be a part of it. Come hang out with us. We're going to be chilling. We're going to be chatting. We're going to get to see all of you. Derek will be there in person. And on February 23rd, we have an awesome live show planned for you. Derek's going to be in the room. I'm going to demolish him. I'm going to destroy him, and then I will bring him back. Atoms. I will bring his atoms, and I will form Derek back into life.
That sounds good. And then I'll just beat you with the dark saber. It'll be all right.
I am the darkness. Hello, darkness.
This isn't Harry Potter, sir.
Well, Jingo.
I was gonna say, speaking of which, real quick, how was for those of the people who like me who didn't watch you play your live stream the other night, how is Hogwarts Legacy, good sir?
Man, pig farts is so good.
I don't know what that means.
It's Hogwarts, pig farts.
Oh,
Hogwarts.
okay.
Yeah. Hogwarts Legacy is really fun, man. The character customization is really cool. You get to make your wand. The graphics look great. The combat is really intuitive.
Okay.
Learning the spells is really fun. Like it's an interactive, like kind of mini game every time you learn a new spell. The voice acting is really awesome.
Good.
The different teachers are very interesting and colorful. They have their own personalities. Hogsmeade is like huge.
Wow.
Like it's huge, man. And there is so much to do in that game. I cannot wait to get more time in it, and I
Yeah.
cannot wait to learn the curses, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Avada Kedavra,
I
your
cannot
favorite
wait.
one?
I can't wait to just like I saw someone they took the Punisher from Daredevil season 2,
Yeah.
where it's like the court scene. It's like he's like, I'd do it again, and like I'd kill them all again, and all of this, and it's talking like when I killed all the Hufflepuffs with
Yeah.
the
Oh
Unforgiven.
gosh.
It's like I do it again, and it's like where Barty Cratchit Jr. is like confessing that he's a Death Eater and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like I do it again. You think putting me in a psych ward's gonna fix this? It's like I'm gonna keep doing it.
It's like demented Goofy. I'll do it again.
Yeah, 100%.
So what you're saying is that this doesn't hold a candle to the epic game of last year, Gotham Knights. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, dude,
So
it looks cool. The dueling is really awesome. Um there's like I said, there's so much to do, and I played about 2.5 hours on stream Tuesday, and just scratching the surface
yeah,
from the bestiary where you're collecting beasts, to creating your own potions, to growing your own plants, to learning new spells and everything. There's so much to do in the game that I think,
yeah,
there's a lot going on here, and I think this is a world to get to explore more and more of. Haven't got a broom yet,
yeah.
but like it's really cool. That's really cool, and
Good.
I'm enjoying it a lot. So
I'm glad you're enjoying it. You're welcome. That was your birthday gift from me. Since we game
th-
share on PlayStation.
thanks, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's so good, man, and I cannot wait for more awesome things. And I would love to hear more people's stories. I know Brandon was saying that he's about to make a character for his wife Jessica. And Amy's going to be playing it as well. Which shout out, not tomorrow, but shout out, Amy
Okay.
is doing a stream tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Time. Come be a part of that. She's got a lot of cool stuff planned.
Cool.
Be a part of that. It's gonna be great, guys. Those are the announcements, but you definitely don't want to miss the Friday streams, because
Right.
Amy is she's coming in hot and heavy. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
She's coming in hot and heavy. Yeah. Marnik says Katie is playing it on seconded PC. On your second PC. Okay. Yeah. I'm excited, Derek. I can't wait to see what you do. I almost I made my character,
Yeah.
and then I was like, I should have made him look like Itachi.
Oh,
Should have made him
so
look
great.
like. So I might go back and make another
Yeah.
that's Itachi, but put him in Ravenclaw, because that's like the really smart ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. Listen, we can't
'Cause
have weebs play
Ravens-
Hogwarts because we're gonna bring anime into everything now.
You know what I mean? Like, because the Ravenclaw,
Yeah.
his ravens,
Yeah.
ah.
I should almost on principle pick Slytherin and then make Aurori Mashu.
Oh man, that would be hot. That would be so good.
Yeah.
Like Naruto would totally be Gryffindor, like 100%.
Oh, for sure.
Naruto would totally be Gryffindor. So, yeah.
Who would be Hufflepuff?
Sakura. Sakura
Yeah.
would be Hufflepuff,
That's
because
true.
they're useless.
Oh, God! Man.
Yeah, Sasuke would be Slytherin as well, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, when you make your characters, make them a Naruto character, because
Exactly.
I might go back and make an Itachi character just to have it. Watch your tongue about Hufflepuff. I said what I said, and I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. Guys, we got to get into the gaming news. Come and join us with all of these discussions. The first one, it's a sad one, guys. I'm not even going to lie.
It was a
Something,
Nerd Cave special one for a couple years ago.
yeah. Well, last year.
Oh yeah, it was last year. Huh.
And this game kind of came out of nowhere. We were like, this isn't going to go well. And then it was just like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
But Knockout City will be shut down in June after struggling to retain a sustainable player base.
Sad day. So Velen Studios has confirmed the heartbreaking announcement of Knockout City servers shutting down on June 6th. The studio released a statement with game director Jeremy Russo explaining why they have come to this conclusion, due to their lack of player retention and necessary changes that needs to be made in order for them to remain successful. However, despite being faced with this setback, Velen Studios is still determined towards achieving success within the industry. Trying to develop a fresh content while also making modifications for Knockout City at the same speed that followers have grown accustomed would be, as the studio put it, quote, completely unobtainable or unattainable. Despite over 12 million players and billions of knockouts around the globe, there are several aspects of the game in need of major disruption to better attract and retain enough players to be sustainable. Although we are a small independent studio, it is impractical for us to make systemic changes in the live game while simultaneously providing ongoing support. Therefore, Velen Studios has decided to take a step back and use that time for reflection, going over what worked well and where improvements can be made before creating our next project, which may or may not be involve Knockout City. A sequel is still very much possible, it would seem, or even just a return of Knockout City in a new and fresh light. But could also be the case that Velen moves on to a totally new original IP. Like the other live services titles we've recently seen shut down, Knockout City will be doing so with a bang, as it were. It'll have a final event in the last 2 weeks called Thanks for the KOs to celebrate the players and Knockout City's 2 years being live. Players will be able to earn rewards faster than ever with triple XP bonus running all 2 weeks and a return of the Superpowers Power Grab playlist. Villain Studios will also not be offering refunds for any purchases made in-game with real currency, and it's not shutting off the in-game store until February 28th, which is also when it'll receive its Season 9 update. So it's sad to see, like we saw
Yeah.
Rumbleverse shut down. Apparently, there's another one in the quick hits, another game which didn't do so well. Crossfire X is also shutting down in the coming months. So it's like crossing all making the checklist of like the deaths. It's like just lining up the tombstones. Um, Knockout was fun, and I get why. Trying to hold a player base, especially with like Fortnite, Apex, and all these other live service games taking up so much of the ethos. It's hard to stay out there, but I'm glad it stayed longer than Rumbleverse for sure. I'm just upset, but Velen has put itself on the map. It's shown that it's a studio that with great ambition, with great ideas. I'd love to see what they're doing next. We'll get into like another quick hit. They are collabing with another studio to make a actual real life game, like Mario Kart type game, like the Mario Kart live circuit. So what are your thoughts on this? Like, does this hold? Is the live service genre? I'm not gonna say is it dead, but is it hard to sustain in this day and age?
Of course, it's hard to sustain. You look at Rumbleverse, anything that's not Fortnite or Rocket League, has a problem staying. Even Fall Guys, fell off. Even Among Us, which is not necessarily live service, but these games that really rely on a lot of people to play, struggle. And for even Halo, let's be honest here. It's sad to see another game go because this is something that we really enjoyed playing here. And we haven't played it in a while, but it was a ton of fun to do at the beginning. But when you tie your whole model to, okay, we are wanting people to buy, cosmetics and all this kind of stuff, you've got to have something to keep bringing people back. And the game loop was great, but it got old after a while. They did have a ton of events. They constantly had new game modes, which kept breathing breath in there. But after a while, you're just throwing a rubber ball, and that brings me to Murdoch's point. He says, I could have told you that this was coming. People want new things, not virtual remakes of a real world kids game. Fun as it was, I see why it's happening. And I think, it's like you can only go so far with the concept, you know, like
Yeah.
they had new maps, they had different takes on things, different
Yeah.
powers, abilities, different balls and everything.
Yep.
And it was fun for a while, but it definitely got old.
Yeah.
And I think that's, it did last 2 years, but Rumbleverse coming from the Fortnite developers, over on
Yeah.
Epic and everything, didn't even last 6 months, dude. Like it was like here and gone again. Like it was
Yeah.
gone quick.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of different, cool aspects to it, but it was just wrestling when you really got down to it.
Yeah.
So
You're
yeah,
right.
I think we are going to see a major shift from live service games because studios are they have put a lot into it, and they are seeing that, you know, this might not be viable. Are we going to
Yeah.
put all this money into this and not be able to get our ROI on
I
this
think we're
game?
gonna see a I really think we're gonna see a genre change here in the next coming years.
Yep, yep. And it might take 4 to 5 years to really see that shift because
Yep.
we had like all the MMOs come out, and
Yep.
then a lot, later in that cycle, there were MMOs that would come out and they would do well for the first few months and then they were dead,
Yeah.
by month 6. And that's what we're seeing now with these live service games. And then we saw it with open world games, like open
Yep.
world games got fatigued. And then we saw it with FPS games.
Yep.
Everybody was a World War II shooter.
Yeah.
So you know what I
Lord,
mean?
especially that World War II.
Oh,
Lord.
so it's like there are cycles to all of this, and I think we are fixing to see a major shift with the games of service. They're going to have to figure out a way to monetize because these companies aren't going to give up on making that dough.
Nope.
Unfortunately, they're going to figure out a way to make that dough, and I'd be curious to see how they try to bamboozle people into
Yeah.
buying microtransactions.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a hotbed too, microtransactions until they got too predatory.
Yeah, 100%. So, as we get closer to the closing of Knockout City, I think we might have to jump in and play some
One
just
more
to,
time.
yeah, just one more time. But let's move on to our second story, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, to include fast travel and rideable creatures.
So in an interview, excuse me, in an interview with Play Magazine, Stig Asmussen, director of Star Wars Jedi Survivor game, divulged that players will be able to swiftly traverse through the game using fast travel and mountable creatures. We will feature both fast travel and rideable creatures to help players quickly get from point A to point B and back to A. The fast travel is point to point, and the rideable creatures offer a way to quickly negotiate between points and explore what is in between. I like this because when we
Mm,
saw the debut trailer at Game Awards, the environments looked way bigger, like
yep.
more vast, more to explore. This is going to take a page from like God of War, I think, because while 2018 God of War was a little bit bigger and a little bit more explorable, it was akin to Jedi Fallen Order, where you could do exploring, but until you got certain abilities or power ups, you had
Mhm.
to wait and come back to it. Whereas Ragnarok, we saw was way more expansive, way more
Yeah.
like open world ish, and that's what Survivor looks to take a page from as well. With that, so of course, if you go bigger, you got to have ways to get around faster because you don't want to sit there and traverse all the way across the map just to get this one loot box that you weren't able to get
Yeah.
an
Y-
hour ago.
Yeah, and I
So,
think that's a big thing. Like I'm replaying, and I think you just started your replay of Fallen Order as well,
yes.
and it's very Metroidvania where you have to backtrack and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like you finish the level, and it's like okay, you got to go back to the ship, and it's like I got to go through all of this again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like it's like, can I just fast travel?
Right.
So it's like I'm glad that they are doing that in this game. So it's not just like, yeah, there might be places that I want to explore, but it's like if I don't have X ability that I need to get, the double jump or the dash or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like I just want to get to the ship and go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think having that, getting the bigger things, I'm curious, do we get to ride a tauntaun?
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Like, and how many rideable creatures are gonna be like? Will there
Yeah.
be some you get to mind? Like, can we ride on a? Can we mind control? Oh my gosh, what was the thing in Jabba's palace? The creature.
Rancor?
Yeah, Rancor. Can we mind control that and ride it?
Maybe. Maybe we'll ride those creepy spiders on Kashyyyk.
Oh gosh, please. That one I'm good.
Come on, man. I don't know. I hate video game spiders. Like, they're the worst.
Yeah.
They're the worst. But I'm excited that they're adding this in there. I think it is something that is definitely needed for the game to continue to get better and not be held back to, when did Fallen Order come out? Like 20
November 19 or November of 2019.
Okay, so like that game model is a few years old. We need something a little bit different. Let's get those fast travel points. Let's get that rideable character. Shout out to Hogwarts Legacy. They got the flu powder like all over the school, and then they've got the broom and all of that. So you get a lot of different ways to traverse and all of that. So excited for Survivor coming out in April now, because last week we talked about it being delayed and everything, but I cannot wait for Jedi Survivor. You know what I can't wait for, Derek? Those sweet Sony games to come out on the Epic Games Store.
Yeah, got next week I think is Returnal on PC.
Returnal coming out on PC. Last of Us did get delayed a little bit.
Still in March, but it got delayed a few weeks.
Yeah, still going to be there. So if you're looking for some awesome PC games and you're looking to support the Nerd Cave without breaking the bank, well, you can go over to the Epic Game Store and use our creator code NerdCave every time.
I know.
Creator code NerdCave. Like, they should call it a different thing so I can say it right. Our creator code NerdCave at checkout in the Epic Store. You can use it on free games. All of it helps us out. You can also use it on your V-Bucks. I would say your Brawler Bucks, but that's gone, baby. That's gone.
I know.
You want to get one of them fancy cars that hit the soccer ball. You can do that too.
Yeah.
All those good things. You can get the Sony games as well. Use our creator code NerdCave at checkout, and you can be epic.
Be epic.
Be epic. Guys, there was a Nintendo Direct on my birthday.
Yeah, I know. How dare they? They know better.
Yeah, I know. It's like, why wasn't there a state of play on my birthday?
I know. I know. It's because Sony doesn't love us.
It's like, Shu, I'm going to have to call Shu up. But like, Shu. Miyamoto at least celebrated my birthday.
Shu's going to be like, I'm no longer in charge. That's Jim Ryan's call. And Jim Ryan's like, I hate you, man. Like, you keep talking crap about me.
I wouldn't doubt it. Let's just be honest.
Right.
I would not doubt it at all.
This is like the top businessman with Jim Ryan. He's like, he knows all these celebrities and whatnot, but like the one person he just has on his hit list is you.
Yeah, you know. Well, I know love for Zona. 100%. So there was the Nintendo Direct yesterday. A lot of there were some big announcements. There was also some smaller announcements. And Derek, why don't you take it away?
So we'll save like the big three announcements toward the end. We're probably not going to touch on every one of them, but we'll definitely hit the highlights for sure. One of the big ones was Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games will be available on Nintendo Switch Online, and it's already out. It was out at the time as the Direct. Nintendo has confirmed that Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games will be headed to the Switch via the Switch Online. All Switch Online subscribers will have access to the Game Boy games, while those with the expansion pack will get access to Game Boy Advance games. The Game Boy games that will be available at launch are Tetris, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, DX, Gargoyle's Quest, Game & Watch Gallery 3, Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare, Metroid 2 Return of Samus, Warrior Land 3, and Kirby's Dream Land. The games can all be played with filters based off of how the Game Boy, Game Boy Pocket, and Game Boy Color looked, and you can play locally or online with friends. The Game Boy Advance games that will be available at launch are The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, WarioWare Inc., Mega Micro Games, Kuro Kuroin, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. These games also support local and online play with friends. There will be more games added in the future as well, and Nintendo gave a tease that some of these include The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons and Ages, Pokemon Trading Card Game, Kirby Tilt and Tumble, Metroid Fusion, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Fire Emblem, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, and Golden Sun. So, what was your takeaway on that? Like, that was kind of huge. Like, but it also speaks to the fact it's like, where are the GameCube games? Like, people keep wanting GameCube games. Like, what? Why does Nintendo hate the GameCube?
I don't know. I think they're trying to, like, if they go too far into the console cycle, they'll eventually hit the Wii U, and there's nothing
Yeah,
there. So
yeah,
they're like,
that's true.
they're
They
trying to
want to
wait on
stave
that.
off as long as possible.
Yeah. I'm glad that they're adding more to try to make more bang for your buck and everything for
Yeah,
the whatever they call it, deluxe or whatever, Nintendo
yeah,
Online. Um, what I would love to see, and I know as you said, like Pokemon trading card game, I would
yeah,
love to see the old Pokemon games show up on this. That
yeah,
would definitely make it like worth getting this. For me, still not worth the exuberant cost for the deluxe and everything. But I'm glad that we are getting more things added to it, and only time will tell. It looks like Derek is like in the middle of a sneeze here on screen. Derek is frozen in time. I don't know what's happening, guys. I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna just go to me. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we got we got all of that. Okay, Derek just joining back in. Okay, we're waiting. I don't know if his internet dropped or not. He's joining in, so we're about to see. He's loading in. He's loading in. But yeah, so getting all of these added bonuses and all of that, I just think that Nintendo overall still needs to do a better job of infrastructure for their online part. I think that is the biggest thing that we see as like a part of this is like their online service stinks. And I think, if they can do something where they actually increase the quality of that, where it's easier to friend people, it's easier to chat with people. I think that might help us out and everything. So there we go.
there we go.
There's
Okay,
Derek.
we back in this.
Yeah, we're having a little technical issues. I'm trying to share my screen with you. It's
Yeah,
not want. I had to stop sharing it, and that's when you were able to come back in. So we got Derek back. I was just saying that, I'm glad that they're adding more stuff, but I wish that they would work on the infrastructure side of things.
yeah. I was gonna
Um,
say they keep adding it, but they keep putting off the inevitable of like making sure the servers work. But neither here nor there.
yeah. So all in all, that's great, and I'm glad that they're adding to it. But yeah, they definitely need to do those. Marduk says, "Does anyone know if Nintendo works in Japan? Are you talking about like the service, like their servers and all of that, the online side? Like, is this a U.S. thing only? I've only heard of U.S. people like complaining about it.
Yeah,
I think it's an honor thing over there as well. It's like they don't
probably.
complain.
Yeah.
They don't complain about things like we do. So I know we were going to watch some trailers. Derek, you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to see the trailers at all because I
Oh,
cannot share
sad
it to
day.
you. So we're going to just negate the trailers.
Okay.
Okay. Pikmin 4 was announced,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for. I like Pikmin. Never played a Pikmin game, but I was always intrigued by Pikmin. So
Yeah.
Pikmin 4 is coming out.
Yeah, so it actually kicked off the direct and gave us a peaceful and beautiful look at the game's world and creatures that inhabit it. Alongside seeing the familiar Pikmin that will be helping us out on our journey, we also get our first look at a dog-like creature named Ochi, who will be helping us on our journeys. He can help you with enemies, remove obstacles, and carry the player and Pikmin across water. There will also be a new ice Pikmin that can freeze enemies, bodies of water, and more. And it's coming out this year. It's coming out on July 21st.
That's exciting. You know, like
Yeah.
they're playing the game of, hey, and by the way, it comes out today. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I mean?
know.
Like a Hi-Fi Rush did.
Right.
You know,
So, but it's not out now. But there was another game that they kind of stealth released out now, which we'll get into here in a little bit.
yeah, we will. Then they talked about a remaster that they're doing. And I think it's just a ploy to buy time for Metroid 4. But they're doing a remaster for Metroid Prime, the
Yeah.
original Metroid Prime, not the other all three of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
Metroid Prime is getting a remaster.
Yeah. So after years of rumors, Metroid Prime Remastered is real. If that wasn't exciting enough, Nintendo is releasing the game now. It's out. It was out yesterday. Came out with the direct on the Nintendo eShop. Physical copies of the game will be available on February 22nd. While there will be new dual stick controls in this remaster, there will also be an additional control option that will recreate the feel of the original game. Unfortunately for Metroid fans, there was no mention of Metroid Prime 4 or remasters of 2 and 3. So, it's kind of sucks that they didn't do a whole trilogy of it, but
Hmm.
maybe they'll slowly do it. Like if they do February, then do one in like March, April or May, then one over the summer, and then Metroid Prime 4 comes out as their big holiday game, like Bayonetta did in October. That would work well, but the fact that they released the digital one out now and the physical copy comes out in a few weeks, that's exciting. At
Hmm.
least you get to go ahead and enjoy it now.
Yeah, I don't think we get two, then three, then four this year. I think we get one this year.
Yeah,
Tears of the Kingdom will be the game this year.
yeah.
And then next year we'll get two and maybe three. And then 2025 we'll get four.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't know, man. Like 2025, that I feel like 2024 has to be Metroid Prime 4. Just lines up too perfectly.
It does. But does Nintendo care about that? No.
No, WND, weird Nintendo decisions.
Exactly. They don't care about none of that. If it makes sense, it don't work at Nintendo.
Fix
You
the
want
servers? Nah, just put on Game Boy and Game Boy Advance on
Yeah.
there. It'll be all right.
Dude, they made a nunchuck. Look at the Nintendo 64 controller. Okay, they don't make
Yeah.
sense.
Looks like a weird shaped banana.
Yeah. But speaking of, Tears of the Kingdom, we got a new
Hmm.
trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. Uh
Arguably the most anticipated thing in the direct.
yep. And we also saw a little bit of gameplay in this trailer.
Yeah.
So Derek, tell us a little bit about Tears of the Kingdom.
But just so there's also a WND weird Nintendo decision. While it was great to see Tears of the Kingdom trailer, there was also some controversy around this. The game was the final game featured in the direct, and we got a brand new look at the much anticipated sequel to 2017's Breath of the Wild. In addition, Nintendo also shared a first look at the game's collector's edition and a new Link amiibo. The standard edition of Tears of the Kingdom will be the first Switch exclusive to retail for $70. While the collector's edition, on the other hand, will cost $130, and it includes a physical version of the game, an art book, a steelbook case, an Inconart steel poster, and a set of 4 pin badges. The new Link amiibo will give players access to material and weapons, as well as a specific fabric for Link's paraglider. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is set to be released on May 12th. So, obviously, everyone's takeaway, because it kind of got leaked early, like the day before,
Mhm.
where it was like it got up on the page for $70, then they took it down, then they closed off pre-orders on a bunch of places, and they were like, everyone's like, oh, here it comes. Like it is par for the course, because Sony's doing it with a lot of their exclusives, and Xbox is doing it with theirs, and then like third parties like Activision, EA, and what
Yep.
have you are raising all their prices. So it is par for the course, but now it is a weird Nintendo decision to do it like a mid console cycle, to just be like, hey, up the prices, especially when the fidelity is not getting better, especially after Pokemon's. Can you imagine if Scarlet and Violet came out at $70 and it played like crap, like it did at launch, and everyone's like, going to be up in arms, like, "Arr!"
Yeah, it is a very interesting move to go with the 70, but it's
Yeah,
like if there is a game that they could go with
yeah,
70, it
yeah,
is this game.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
think about Breath of the Wild, the best selling Switch game for a very,
Yeah,
very long time. More people own Breath of the Wild than they own Switches at one point.
exactly.
So this is the game to go with. Like, if you're going to do the $70 and like everybody else is doing it, Nintendo's like, we're going to jump on this as well.
Yeah.
The legendary version does not seem worth $130.
No,
Um,
no.
but
But that's just how collector's editions are nowadays. Give you minimum for more.
yeah, there is something else they announced around this as well to kind of take a little bit of sting off. Uh,
Hmm.
Nintendo is they're doing the Nintendo Switch game voucher system
Yes.
again, where you have 2 game vouchers. Essentially, you pay $100 and you can get 2 games for
Yeah.
$100,
Yeah.
and they're allowing Tears of the Kingdom to be
Yep.
one of those games. I think
Yeah.
that's a
You
great
pay a
business
hundred
move.
dollars and save $70, and if they're gonna raise all the exclusives going forward to 70, like you spend 100 and save 140. Like now,
Yeah,
how long that'll last, I don't know, because I'm sure like with
yeah,
new games, there's going to be a time period. Like
yeah,
you have pre-orders, and then the first 2 weeks of the game being out, and then after that you got to pay regular price.
yeah. It says buy now, use later. Vouchers are redeemable for 12 months from the date of purchase and don't have to be used at the same time. So you
Yeah.
can buy one game and then use your other voucher later on and get another one. Um,
Exactly.
more games, more savings. You can have up to 8 active vouchers in your account at a time. Build your
Wow.
Nintendo Switch library at a discount. So that's some good savings. I'm gonna just say that.
Exactly.
Like,
Especially since Switch games hardly ever go on sale.
yeah, 100%. So if you are trying to build up your Switch library, if you want to test out, Kirby and the Forgotten
Forgotten Land.
Land, I couldn't remember if it was Kingdom or Land. If you want to, test out Splatoon 3 or whatever, if you want to get Tears of the Kingdom, that's the way to do it. Okay, I'm gonna just be honest. You
Yeah.
want to get the new Pokemon game and you don't want to spend, all that money, get you that and get you Tears of the Kingdom, $100. Boom. Taking
Yeah.
care of business every day. Now, Derek, do you think this is the last major game? Do we see Nintendo start moving towards possibly giving us a new console?
I'm surprised they didn't just delay Tears of the Kingdom and put it out with their new console like they've done for the last 2 generations. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
Um I don't think this is the swan song because I think, Pokemon and whatnot, but because every time because now here's an interesting part because the last couple years everyone keeps talking about, oh, we're going to see the new Switch this year or whatever, and Nintendo comes out and squashes those dreams like we're not talking about this.
yeah,
Granted, it's only February, but usually they start squanching this beginning of the year,
hmm,
and they haven't said it.
yeah,
So now, do I think we get an announcement and it releases this year? No. I think we
yeah,
get an announcement at the end of the year and we see more of it in January, kind of like how they did with the Switch, and it's out in spring. I think they see that a spring release does better because Sony and Microsoft do better as kings of the fall
hmm,
releases, right before that holiday rush. Nintendo, I think, likes to do it around tax season when everyone's getting money and like there's a bunch of new games coming out around spring anyway because spring has
yeah.
become the new fall. So I think Nintendo's going to see more success like they did with the Switch in and release it in spring. So I do think this is the year we get an announcement or at least a tease of new hardware, but it won't come out this year.
I agree 100%. And if they do release it, Derek, I will say this right now.
Yeah.
I know I said it might not come out until 2025, but if the Switch does, we get a new Nintendo console next year,
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4 will be a launch title.
I agree. That's why I'm saying 2024. Like, I think, like, because here's the layout. Because now this was before you threw out the thing about new hardware. I was thinking, remastered one is out now. Remastered 2 the summer or like late spring, early summer. Remastered 3 comes out late summer, early fall, and then 4 comes out next year.
Mhm.
So just to get you hyped because they want to spread that out.
Yeah, I just don't know, like, if they do that. You know what I mean? They might just do remastered 1 and then 4. Like,
That's also possible,
you know,
because
you know,
They did remaster. They only did, go into Gears of War, cross streams. They only remastered 1, and then they just put out Gears 4. They didn't bother going
Yep.
back with 2 or 3.
Yep. So only time will tell. But there's your Nintendo Direct announcements. A lot of cool stuff there. If you want to check out all the different trailers and everything, there was a lot of smaller titles announced throughout
And a
all
lot
that.
more expansion passes and DLC than because like we got of course Booster Course 4 for Mario Kart, and then
Mhm.
Splatoon 3 got an expansion pass, no surprise. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, not really a surprise, but then also Fire Emblem Engage just came out, and they're already talking about DLC. It's like, bro, chill out. I know
Hey,
the game does well, but chill out.
Fire Emblem made that money.
I
Made that
mean, I
money.
guess
Made that money.
so.
You know what I'm ready for, Derek?
Some PlayStation news.
Oh, baby, baby, baby. First up, PlayStation 5 system software update allows you to update the DualSense wirelessly. Thank you, good Lord, because I
I
have not
know.
updated mine in months because I do not hook it up other than to charge. So it's like,
Right.
let's do this.
You hook it up and it's like, it needs an update later. I want to
Yeah.
play my game. So currently for beta testers, you can easily update the DualSense wireless controller device software with a robust, secure wireless connection. If for any reason you experience trouble wirelessly and updating the device software, then connect your controller to your PS5 console via USB cable instead, and it will be automatically updated. You'll have no problem updating wirelessly in time for the next important system upgrade. So I'm glad they are finally adding this feature because
Mm,
Xbox has done this. Like they used to do it too. You had to connect it with a wireless or with a cable to update it, and then they finally wisened up and were like, you know what? Just do an update, and we'll do it wirelessly. Sony, as usual, has always been late to the party, but better late than never. Now it's only for beta testers, so hopefully, assuming by like April May they'll have this up. Probably even sooner than that. Probably by March they'll have this update ready to go, and we'll finally be like, you'll probably still hit do it later when you want to play a game, but at
yeah.
least we have the option to not have to get up off the couch and hook up a wire to it.
Yeah. 100% glad that it's happening, late, but glad that it's finally happening for us. But we're not done with the PlayStation news. We got some quickies.
So starting off, PS5 is available at Amazon for the first time in 2+ years without waitlist or invite system. PlayStation earnings shatter records with 8.8 billion with a B over holiday 2022. Following that, Sony reportedly expects to ship over 10 million PS5s in this fiscal year in quarter three. PSVR 2 can play non-VR PS5 games, but only in cinematic mode. Pistol Whip PSVR 2 release date is set for the system launch on February 22nd. Horizon Call of the Mountain has gone gold. Garden of the Sea brings feel-good exploration and farming to PSVR 2 at launch. Gran Turismo 7 was built with PSVR 2 in mind from day one. Following that, Polyphony Digital has started working on the next Gran Turismo game. Final Fantasy VII Remake story changes were made to, quote, feel both nostalgic and fresh at the same time. The Last of Us Episode 5 will drop tomorrow to avoid releasing on Super Bowl Sunday, so that's a little treat, a little Friday treat. You, instead of going out to the club, you get to watch some Last of Us. Make better choices. Rumor: The Last of Us Part 3 is in production and will release on PS5, but will also have PS6 in mind. Like we alluded to earlier, The Last of Us Part 1 PC release has been pushed to March 28th, so only a few weeks. It was supposed to be March 3rd. Have a little mind that they want to give a little bit more cushion to when The Last of Us ends or season 1 ends to when the game releases. And lastly, Blizzard on Midgard, teased by Sony for Super Bowl 57, and urges fans to keep their eyes peeled during the game. Could we see some God of War news?
Mm,
Only time will tell. I think they'll talk
mm.
about when the new game plus mode will release, but because I think they openly said before the game launch that they don't plan to do any story DLC with it. So I think we'll get a new game plus tease.
Maybe not, but who's to say what old Corey Barlog can and can't do?
Exactly. He beats to his own drum for sure.
Yeah. Amy says, "Don't go to the club. Watch Last of Us." Derek Daniel.
Yeah. You know. You know.
One quick thing before we get into the Patreon quick hits. Um, we have said there's a Last of Us 3.
Yeah,
Then Naughty Dog's like, no, there's not a Last of Us 3. Only
yeah,
if there's a good story. There's not a Last of Us
yeah,
3. And now we're getting another rumor that there's a Last of Us 3.
yeah,
Dollars to donuts, Derek. With the success of the show,
yeah.
why
With the
like
game sales, like, because we reported last week that it's up 300% in
yeah,
sales,
yeah,
and that's not even with the PC version out. So it's like, come on, guys, you're printing money at this point.
yeah,
You may not be GTA, but you're still up. You're for Sony expectations. You're printing money.
yeah. I don't think Jim Ryan will let that sleeping dog lie. I'm gonna just tell you
No,
that.
like
Uh
they may have moved on from Uncharted and let other studios do it, but Last of Us now, that's their baby. They can't
yeah,
let anyone else do it but them.
yeah. So I'm excited to see what we get from Last of Us 3, but that's so far away. You know what you could do right now? You could become part of the ship, part of the crew by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave. And you could be the awesome people that bring the quick hits because the
Mhm.
quick hits are brought to you us by our wonderful patrons. Derek, let's jump into the Patreon quick hits.
So first off, continuing the live service deadening trend, like the game's not shutting down, but Turtle Rock Studios won't be releasing any more new Back for Blood content and will be shifting to a new project. Respawn's canceled Titanfall Legends reportedly tied into Apex Legends characters in a single-player campaign. Following that, Apex Legends Season 16 Revelry is bringing major changes to the game and Team Deathmatch. Following that, Season 16 will be more accessible to newcomers than ever before, with orientation matches and firing range upgrade. Following that, Apex Legends cross progression is still, quote, definitely coming, says Respawn. Alan Wake 2 dev is aiming for a full fledged survival horror game. It Takes Two celebrates over 10 million sales. Activision Blizzard charged $35 million by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Following that, the CMA provisional ruling states Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard would result in less competition. Like I alluded to earlier, Crossfire X will be shutting down May 18th. Dragon Age Dreadwolf alpha gameplay leaks uses God of War as primary influence. Wolong Fallen Dynasty is getting another demo, and this time the save data will transfer over to the full game. Marvel's Midnight Suns original draft included more than 25 heroes. Following that, Midnight Suns was reportedly not a commercial success despite rave reviews. Iron Man has entered full production at EA Motive. Microsoft has been issued an antitrust warning from the EU, remains confident it'll address concerns. Evil Dead the Game update brings Splatter Royale, new weapons, and more. New Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon details revealed will have a single player and be action focused. New Resident Evil 4 Remake gameplay teases new enemy. Darkest Dungeon 2 1.0 release set for May 8th. Excuse me. Tekken 8 reveals Nina Williams as a new character. Following that, Tekken 8 rollback netcode looks possible as Arika now working on the franchise. Excuse me. Some Overwatch 2 news. Overwatch 2 update brings Season 3 content, including new map and accessibility improvements. Following that, Season 3 will feature the game's first IP collaboration with Doomfist's One Punch Man skin. Judas Game is targeting launch by the end of March 2025, really oddly specific. Call of Duty full premium release for 2023 reaffirmed by Activision in latest financial call. Assassin's Creed Valhalla Dawn of Ragnarok wins first ever Grammy for Best Video Game Score. As we alluded to earlier with Velan Studios, Mario Kart Live and Velan Studios announced Hot Wheels Rift Rally. Nintendo Switch passes PS4 and Game Boy to become third best-selling console of all time. GTA, now this one I don't believe at all, but just throwing this out here, GTA 5 might not have made enough money as Take-Two might have layoffs to save $50 million. Hogwarts Legacy has officially become the most watched single-player game on Twitch. City Skylines Remastered comes to PS5 and Series X and S on February 15th. Resident Evil Death Island is a new CG animated film coming this summer. Atomic Heart game length is about 20 to 25 hours and will have 12 weapon types. New Nacon Connect event scheduled for March 9th. And lastly, Jackbox Party Pack 10 coming this fall.
There's your Patreon quick hits, Derek. I want to hit a few just to go back. A lot of Apex news, and
Yeah.
I don't care anything about Apex, but I'm glad that it's still doing well.
Yeah.
Congrats to It Takes Two. 10 million
Yes,
copies sold,
for
and
sure.
it is not a like yes, it won Game of the Year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it is not your conventional game. And
No.
I think, it requiring literally it's in the title, it takes two to play it,
Yeah.
is, a big part of it. But, congratulations to them. Enjoyed my time with it. One of these days I might go back and play it. I am excited, Derek, for Dragon Age Dreadwolf.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited
When do
for
you
it.
think, if it's an alpha gameplay, do you think, like, obviously E3 is coming around the corner. Now we don't know who's going to be there, but Summer Game Fest will be shortly thereafter. Do you think we will see it at one of those events?
I hope so, man, because we've been waiting on Dragon Age 4 forever.
Ever.
So it would be nice for EA to get off the pot.
Yeah.
And actually show some like legit stuff and not something that's leaked, because even though the alpha gameplay might have leaked, that might have been something that got data mined from a long time ago. It might not
That's
be the
true.
newest stuff. So hopefully we'll see something in the summer, from
Yeah.
EA. They might do an EA play or something like that, and we
Yeah.
actually get to see it and everything. I would love to have a fall release of Dragon Age Dreadwolf. I know the fall is already kind of packed, but
I was just going to say, I'm calling it now. It's going to be spring 2024 release.
okay.
So
Okay.
it could get a fall date, but I think it'll get delayed. I think spring is when it comes out. That's not a bet. Not a bet. We're not putting it down. Don't you do it. I hear them keyboard. I hear them keys typing.
Okay, I'm just checking like the normal, like, okay, Inquisition was in the fall,
Yeah.
2 was in the spring. Let's see, and then the first was at November 3rd. So they do tend to go fall,
Yeah.
but two was rushed. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. And then Midnight Suns. People say like the rave reviews, that game is trash. Okay,
Yeah.
that game is trash. And I was talking to Robbie about this a few weeks ago, and he was like, I'm playing it, but I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, because he loves
For Mr.
XCOM.
XCOM himself.
He loves XCOM. He loves Marvel. He's like, I'm playing it, but I'm not enjoying it.
I
And
know.
I'm like, that says a lot right there.
It's like
Says a
back
lot.
in the day when you had to eat your vegetables if you wanted to have dessert.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, a lot of cool things happening in the video game world, guys, and we hope that you have enjoyed this episode of the Nerd Cave News, because we get to do this each and every week because of all the awesome people that go over to patreon.com/nerdcave and support us over there. You could be like one of the cool people. You could be one of the cool people. You know what I mean? You could
Yep.
also go to the Epic Game Store. Like, you're like, hey, I enjoy the show, but I went to the wrong thing. I enjoy the show, but I want to keep my money in my own pocket. You can go to the Epic Game Store, use our creator code NerdCave at checkout, and support us that way as well. And again, guys, February 25th, we are going to be doing a meet up over at Five Guys on Airport Boulevard in Pensacola during PensaCon at 11:30 a.m. So going to be a part of that. It's going to be phenomenal. We are doing an awesome live show on the 23rd with Derek in the building. I hope he's scrolling up to the top, because I'm reading all of this stuff so he can scroll up to the top.
I'm already there, sir.
Scroll up to the top. But guys, we hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that you have a fantastic rest of the week. This has been Zach.
And Jingo the Huff.
Y'all have a blessed week.